Hello, I'm Philip Hendricks and I'm currently at the BBC conference talking here to Dr. Penny Pullan, who is one of the speakers here. Your organization is called Making Projects Work, so I'm guessing that all the writing, speaking, facilitating that you do is in some way helping organizations become better at working and collaborating.
People in organizations to become better at collaborating. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, very good distinction. And you've been doing a workshop on virtual collaboration in the conference here?
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about virtual collaboration? How did you get involved in virtual collaboration?
How did I get involved? Very good question. Yeah, and it was quite a sudden thing really, because I was due to start running a really big global program for Mars Incorporated, who I worked for at the time. We were all due to gather in New York for a week's kickoff, all together face to face for 5 days. Everything was ready, my bags were packed. I had the tickets, you didn't do boarding cards online in those days. Everything was ready, the tickets were there. The tickets said the 13th of September 2001.
Okay.
So as Philip has just twigged, 9/11 happened 2 days before I was due to fly, and we were grounded for 3 months. So actually we couldn't do that kickoff face to face in person. Instead we had to do it virtually. And it was a bit like those situations where you see people thrown into a swimming pool who can't swim to see if it'll force them to swim or not, or whether they'll drown. Well, obviously they'd be rescued first. And thankfully when I was thrown into the virtual swimming pool, I found I quite liked it and that I could swim. And so I've been working virtually on and off ever since. A year or so later, I was developing internal guidelines for Mars as to how we should approach virtual working, tools and techniques to use. And since I've had my own company now for 12 years, I've been working with lots of other different organizations in how they can improve their collaboration that's virtual, make it more creative, make it more engaging.
Okay.
It seems to be quite a challenge.
Sounds really interesting. Now, virtual working isn't really that virtual at all, is it?
Well, I wrote a book called Virtual Leadership. This one, yes. And my dad thought it was really funny because he said, virtual leadership, that's actually not leadership at all, is it? Virtual means almost, but not quite. But no, virtual working is real working. It's just with some of the team, at least remote. In fact, I would say that a virtual team is any team where at least one person in the team isn't in the room. So you could have 9 people all in the room and one person virtual. And I think you should apply virtual techniques to that team.
Okay, because otherwise the person will be left out or something?
Otherwise you have a team of 9 and you have some poor person that gets completely forgotten.
Yeah.
Independent.
That happens all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's so needless. It's so unnecessary. There should be a level playing field for everybody who's virtual.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my experience working virtually, I've noticed that people tend to consider virtual working as kind of a handicap compared to normal in-person collaboration. Is that true?
It depends. That's my favorite answer to everything, Philip. So I suppose virtual working gives you all sorts of benefits. You can work with people all around the world. You can get the best person for the precise job that you have, no matter where they are in the world. You can get people at the right price. For example, you can tap into people with diverse skills, diverse ways of thinking, diverse cultures, and so on. Yes, it's not as rich as being in the room, but if you plan it, if you balance it, you can get virtual sessions to be really good and really productive. The trouble is that 99% of virtual sessions are pretty atrocious in my experience. So probably most people watching this are going to have had very bad experiences. But you can have better experiences, and that's what I'm doing, helping others to have
And are there any
experiences.
techniques coming up beyond the traditional chat or Skype video call?
Techniques, well, are you talking about sort of technology you can
Technology
use?
tools that help virtual collaboration?
Absolutely, there are lots. A shared whiteboard or a shared space that you can all see is very helpful. And something I find is very engaging is using live drawing. So you can actually draw draw out what you're working on together.
Yeah.
And somehow when you're looking at something that's moving and changing and developing over time, actually that keeps people who are virtual, who are watching that shared whiteboard, far more engaged than if they were just sitting there listening to people talking over PowerPoint.
Which would make it challenging to stay engaged, keep your attention.
Absolutely. Well, it's very difficult to stay engaged unless you have things that are engaging you actively. And there are lots of things that each make a little difference, but added together make a huge difference. I think I've got 9 listed in my book. So things like using storytelling.
Yeah.
So, we've been, through generations, we've had information passed down through the narrative form. So if you start talking about something in a story format, and I don't mean you're talking about unicorns and fairies and once upon a time, but you have a beginning of the story, you have a middle, and then you have the end that closes it. People will listen in. It's a bit like a hook. People will hear the beginning, they'll listen to the middle, and they'll want to stay to hear the ending as well. So that's powerful. Using people's faces so you can see people, and using video can be really helpful as well. Using curiosity. So people are wondering what's coming next. Being like a radio host where they sort of pre-announce things in a way that makes it sound interesting and curious. Have you ever listened to the radio and ended up stuck listening hours later? You only turned it on for 5 minutes, and 2 hours later, what am I doing still here? So if they can do it, you can do it on your virtual teams as well.
Yeah, and it sounds like tactics that are also very applicable in-person collaboration. And
they help too.
Yeah, okay, great. To close, do you have a final practical tip for people getting started on a new virtual collaboration?
Yep. Remember that the people you're working with are humans. If you can connect with them person to person and get to know them as people, that's something that happens naturally in face-to-face, or should I say in person, because face-to-face can be video as well. It happens naturally in in-person meetings where you're in the same room. You begin to get to know each other as people and as other human beings, whereas virtual sessions tend to really just focus on the work. And unless you know people as other people, it's very easy just to ignore things that they need or to ignore actions that you ought to do because they're just, that's that thing. It's not the same as these people I'm working with. So remember, people are humans, build those relationships, get to know people, and it'll really transform your team.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of academic research coming out now as well that says that those teams that have a very high trust and have a high performance also use video and know each other well. They talk about things beyond work as well, and they get to know each other one-to-one and as groups.
Like having a short video introduction of each other.
Well, whatever it might be.
Preparation.
Certainly.
Okay. Sounds interesting. So if people want to know more, you have shown already your book on virtual leadership.
Perhaps I should show it a little bit more. So there are a couple of books that I've had on sale at this conference. One's Virtual Leadership, which is all around the virtual working topic. On this side, this is actually written by 28 people.
Wow.
I wrote some of the chapters, and I'm a co-editor, so I rewrote some of the chapters as well, but I won't tell you which. This is all about business analysis and leadership and how you can influence change. There is a chapter in here about virtual working, but there's much more in this one.
Okay, very good. And we'll also put up a link to your website at the end of the video so people can reach you through that channel as well. Thank you very much for the short interview. And if there are any questions, thoughts, feedback, please feel free to add these in the comments below the video. Thank you for listening.
Sounds great. Thank you.